Hey there, kiddos. This show is rated M for mature by the ESRB rating, so go play something else, like Minecraft. Start the show. How are you opening this thing, anyways? Did we just open it? Did you just do something?
Maybe.
Oh, okay.
That's why I'm like, hey, it's Bryce and Derek, I guess.
You gotta have some enthusiasm.
It's Bryce and Derek, I guess.
I guess. Don't say I guess. Nobody thinks a show is confident when they
I'm
guess
not sure
things.
if you're you and I'm me, okay?
You're a fool.
Welcome to Did You Hear About This? This is a podcast about stories. We're just going to tell real stories that happen in reality. We're not historians or reporters or anything, so don't expect to be 100% accurate.
We barely know what we're doing.
I don't even know if this is my place we're staying in right now.
This is a horrible pilot.
They're not going to pay any money for us
this.
to keep dealing with this.
No, not at all. But it'll be fun.
Alright. So let's just fucking jump right into it, shall we?
Yep. All right. What's first story, Bryce?
Let's start the first one. Shout out to the YouTube channel Cheddar for bringing this to my attention. Have you heard about this? It's the Isabel Stewart Gardner Museum heist.
Uh-huh. A heist?
A heist.
What are they stealing?
So on March 18th, 1990.
Wow, this is an old story.
I'm going to go far back with these dudes.
This is older than you.
And you?
Nah, I'm older than you.
Not...
All right, continue.
Okay.
1990.
So I want you to play with me a little bit.
Okay.
I want you to picture you're a security guard who's working at this museum for like a while now.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight, it's an overnight shift.
It's your last day, 3 days before retirement. Gotcha.
Sure, it's the last day, 3 days before retirement. You have a new guy with you. He brought his trombone because he thought it was going to be super boring. So he's going to play and practice trombone overnight.
Not the smallest instrument to bring with you. I used to play the trombone in high school.
Yeah.
It's a bitch. And the case is even heavier than the fucking instrument is.
You can't just like pop it in your backpack and take it with you to work, or
that's like almost guitar dedication, but not as cool as guitar.
You're telling me there's not bands out there starring a trombone?
There's probably a band in like the Midwest somewhere, if not probably up north, that probably has a trombone dedicated to it. I remember there was one guy who had a what's that thing Steve Urkel used to play?
Oh, the accordion?
Yeah, there was a guy who had a band that was dedicated to an accordion.
Isn't that Weird Al?
No, Weird Al does play an accordion.
Yeah,
but no, this was a guy who just did like he did like remixes of like geeky like video game music, and he had an accordion that he played. All right, anyways, get back to the story about this man bring a trombone.
So he brought a trombone. It's about 1:24 in the morning.
Okay, so we're still at work.
Yeah, you came back from you're doing your rounds. You trade off. You're sitting behind the security desk. He does his rounds, and you get a buzzer at one of the doors. Mm-hmm. You look through the camera and you see two guys dressed in police uniforms.
Okay.
In this situation, and they go over the intercom, and they go. They said, "Oh, we got called because we heard a disturbance. Mm-hmm. Can we come inside so we can check things out? Do you let them in?"
Honestly, yeah, probably if they look legitimate. Yeah, I hope they look legitimate.
So context, you were told to let no one in.
Oh, okay. Well, that's when you start asking for credentials. Like, where's the badge at? What's the number? Give me a report.
So let's go with you. You're like, he's a cop.
Yeah.
These cops.
Yeah.
Just let him in.
Let cops in.
Your partner's still on a patrol. They come up to you by yourself at the security desk. Mm-hmm. They're like, you look familiar. I think there's a warrant out for your arrest. Can you step up from behind the desk and so we can check your ID? And the only way for you to contact the outside world
is behind that desk.
There's a phone and there's a button that's an alarm.
Is it a silent alarm?
Yes.
Okay. At that point, you hit the silent alarm and then maybe you walk around.
See, that would be the smart thing to do. what actually happened, the dude was like, okay, and just gets out and is like, here's my ID. So they're like, oh yeah, totally, it's totally a warrant.
Trust us, we're the police.
So they handcuff him. At this point, the guy's like, I don't think these guys are cops. Because there's no Miranda rights. There's no... And you get looks kind of close, and you see one of the cops that's handcuffing me in, his mustache is made of wax.
It's a wax mustache?
It's a wax.
A wax mustache.
Yeah, like...
Oh. This isn't going to end well.
Yeah, and then you see your security mate gets walked
trombone.
in also in handcuffs from the other guy.
Oh.
There's two cops. One of them handcuffs you. The other one finds the other guy.
So wait, what museum was this at in the 1990s?
The Isabel Stewart Gardner Museum.
I'd be pissed off if I was Isabel.
Well, she's dead at this
Doesn't
point.
matter. You're still pissed. She's yelling from heaven right now, wherever the hell she's at, going, come on, you can't be that stupid. That's not even a convincing mustache. That is the fakest mustache. I have a mustache that probably looks better than that, and I'm a lady.
He's a blonde man, and it's black.
Yeah, it's a black mustache. Not even the right color. It's a ginger red mustache on a blonde man.
It's wax, so it's not even like colored. It's like tan. I got it from the candle and just put it on there. Is this good enough to disguise?
I actually knew a guy who couldn't grow a mustache because if he grew it out, he actually had two different colors. So if he grew it out, like 3/4 of it was black and the other 1/4 of it was blonde.
So
that's not a joke.
So it was like a Neapolitan
mustache.
Hairs.
Yeah, literally, if he dyed the other half pink, it would be a Neapolitan mustache, which is going to be a thing now. I want to see a Neapolitan mustache. There's got to be one. Make it a handlebar Neapolitan mustache.
I mean, there has to be, right?
No, because nobody's that stupid unless they're like
Neapolitan.
a major big hipster who also wears suspenders for no reason because they're too fucking skinny for it.
I mean, I'm not saying anything, so this has to start being a thing.
All right, Bryce, you're getting a Neapolitan mustache. I'll pay for it. We'll go. Actually, it's cheap. I can get color dye for you.
We just go get the ice cream and just shove my face in
inside of ice cream. Neapolitan's delicious. Okay, get back to the story. The friend's handcuffed already.
So
clearly, he looks stupid.
Yeah, he realizes it's fake cops, and this time they're like, "I don't think you're real cops," and you're like, "They're like, yeah, we're not real cops."
The charade is over.
This is the heist. Go to the basement. So they take him down to the basement, and they handcuff them to a pipe and take duct tape, handcuff that, they duct tape their hands, duct tape their head and their feet so they can't see or move or know what's going on.
Eyes?
Not just their eyes, their head.
Yeah, I know, but imagine when they have to take the duct tape off your eyelashes and your eyebrows. Maybe not the eyebrows because they might not rip. The eyelashes are gone. That's gonna hurt.
You think just your face? It's there around their head.
That's like the worst waxing in the world.
Yeah, so you do that.
Talk about your Brazilians. That ain't anything.
Not only is this dude's about to lose his job,
he's also losing his. I hope he didn't have long hair. He better be a security guard with a short haircut.
I don't know for sure about that, but he's short hair now.
He has hair like Edge from wrestling. It's just all long. So when they rip it out, just comes to clumps.
So now he looks like Hulk Hogan. That's like
long
on the sides, but it's bald on top.
On the top. All right. So now they're in the basement.
So they handcuff and tie them up, and they go on to spend the next hour and a half of stealing different paintings.
This is not a fast heist.
No, because nobody called the cops. Nobody knows they're there.
Oh yeah, it's true. So they can take their time.
They have all night.
True. And if anybody shows up, they look like police officers with legitimate mustaches.
Yeah, they're like, we're supposed to be here.
We're supposed to be here. They handcuff them. They start slowly taking more people to the basement. There's like 50 people with fucking tape all over their heads.
And this is the weirdest episode of Human Centipede I've
ever
seen in my entire life.
There's just nothing there.
So they steal 13 items. It's 11 paintings, this ancient Chinese goo cup, and an eagle on top of a flagpole. The total.
Why the eagle? Did they just run out of stuff to steal?
Because there's a lot of like theories about this, because there's two things of why this one's famous. Mm-hmm. The total amount is $500 million worth of objects.
Most of that better be the paintings. That eagle only costs maybe about $1.50. They stole off a flagpole. I can go buy one from a craft store right now.
I can buy 3 from dollar store for $3.
Exactly. Unless it was like one of those legitimate ones you see like on the highway, those big flagpoles with flags bigger than my house.
And
One of those ones. So the eagle's probably like the size of a
eagle?
pterodactyl. No, probably yeah. It's the eagle size of an eagle.
It's a 1-to-1.
It's a 1-to-1 scale of an eagle.
So there's also, not only is it $500 million, none of the paintings have been found.
Okay.
Nobody knows who did this. Nobody knows where the paintings went.
Mm-hmm.
It's just still.
They're just looking for a very handsome man with a very handsome mustache.
It's totally real. Believe
it's
me.
a totally legitimate mustache.
Yeah. So there's a lot of issues that came up with this. Clearly, he just let him in. But another thing that happened was because of how Isabel Stewart Gardner, her will, because she spent her entire life.
Oh, so she was dead before this?
Yes.
Okay.
She spent her entire life building this museum.
Mm-hmm.
She lived in it, and she built this entire thing about all these paintings. She spent like almost every day rearranging it.
Mm-hmm.
In her will, it says, "Do not make any changes to my museum."
So there's just don't tell me there's gaps in this museum where there's just nothing there.
There's
they didn't
gaps.
Put anything
there
up.
Are empty frames. Because the guys who broke in, they find these 6-foot by 5-foot paintings. They're like, well, I can't carry that.
You gotta roll it up.
So they took a knife and cut the inside of it around the frame to get the majority of it.
So there's pieces of paper probably still in the frames because they couldn't open it.
And then they just left, because he can't make any changes to his museum, the frames still hang there, empty.
We should go there.
It's in Boston.
I can go to Boston.
We should totally go there, but clearly their security is going to be higher rank now.
It's actually the same guy. He got off the hook because he was fooled by that devilish mustache.
And the other guy put his trombone solo and got off clean.
Exactly. They still work there to this day. They decided not to retire that day after that event. And so they still work there.
And another big way that nobody figured out this was because it's 1990, there are security cameras at this point. Mm-hmm. Because they can't, because they can't make any changes to the museum, they couldn't put security cameras in.
That's the stupidest thing I think you said.
But they did have motion sensors,
so they could see them stealing the
so
pictures.
They knew the police knew their entire path of where they went inside this museum. Mm-hmm. There's 3 floors. The security place is on the first floor.
All right.
They only went to the second floor.
So they could have stole even more stuff.
Yeah. So they went to the second floor, stole things from there, first floor, and then left.
Why not go to the next floor?
If
there's no reason to be worried and take your time, especially because this is at 1:22, so nobody's showing up for the next 4 or 5 hours. Because the museum probably doesn't open till museums don't open till maybe 9 or 10.
I think maybe 8.
Maybe 8, depending on where it's at.
Clearly, we know a lot about museums.
I actually like museums. I don't go to them a lot, but I love museums.
Well, that's a great thought, because there's a lot of questions that came up because a lot of the paintings they took were expensive, but they didn't take the most expensive paintings.
No, they
walked right past ones that are worth almost double some of the other ones they took. So it raises the question: did they not know about paintings at all?
These are people who watched an action heist movie in '89. They're like, yeah, it's easy. Just walk in, you take pictures off the wall. And then they were like, well, we need disguises, fake mustaches. All right, they get into the building. They go, how we get the paintings out? They don't show that in the movie. Just grab a knife and they just cut them the fuck out. And which ones do we steal? I like that one. Let's take that one. What about this one? Nah, nobody wants the Mona Lisa. Nobody fuck the Mona Lisa. And they just walk by. Because
there's 2 that they passed that are. One was in an article at this cabin. It was an article. It's called the Rape of Europa. That is worth almost double the amount of most of them. Mm-hmm. That they walked right. They literally, since they saw the motion of it, they walked right past. They also walked past the Michelangelo.
The Ninja Turtle?
The Ninja Turtle.
It's a picture of a slice of pizza on the painting?
Yeah, it's totally a slice of pizza. Yeah. And they just walked right by, even though it's worth more than the other ones.
Wow.
So this raises a question I want to ask you.
Okay.
If you were hired to rob this museum, and they made the plan out and it worked perfectly, now you're standing in the museum, how do you know which paintings to take?
You honestly don't. If anything, I would see, and that's the reason why I got confused why they didn't go to the top floor. Because you said there's 3 floors.
Yeah.
My idea is it's like a club, like the highest expensive shit's on the top. And so I would have went to the top floor and stole everything off the top floor, and if I had time, work my way down.
Yeah.
So I probably would have. I don't know what's on the 3rd floor. It could be expensive stuff, but that's what I would have ended up doing. I would have because I don't know shit about art. Now, if I would have saw something that said like Michelangelo, but I imagine he only spoke Italian, right?
Well, it still says his name.
Yeah, no, but is it in English or is it in Italian?
I don't know for sure.
Because was it Italian?
Yeah.
Michelangelo's Italian, right?
Yeah, he was from Rome.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I imagine it's probably not in English. So they probably looked at it and went, it's just a scribble, and they probably just went about their day. That's what I would have did.
They're like, they can't recognize other languages.
No, dude, people who got fake mustaches aren't learning languages. They don't got Duolingo. They're not learning stuff for this. Yeah. They probably wasn't expecting the fucking security guard to be that stupid to come from around the desk.
They walk out of the room. This fucking guy.
Yeah, they probably looked at, like when you they were probably standing next to each other. As soon as he walked out, one probably twitched their eyes like, really? Oh, okay, sure. We'll go with Plan A then.
I didn't think we were gonna get this far.
Yeah, not at all. They probably wasn't even expecting to get in the door.
And they got in the door.
They got in the door into the basement, all the way to the 2nd floor
for an hour and a half.
And for an hour, honestly, could have stayed longer because the sun doesn't come up till about 6, depending on what season it is. Maybe 5:30. So they were in the dark the whole time.
In March.
So the sun was down for a little while.
Yeah. So it had plenty of time.
You think when they showed up to show their legitimacy that they were police officers, like, yeah, we're police officers. We got Dunkin'.
We got donuts.
Yeah, donuts on the way.
You don't need to see my badge. I have an entire box of donuts.
Yeah. But yeah, so, you don't know what pictures you're gonna steal. I wouldn't. I would just go and start. If anything, because the way it sounds like you're telling me this is that they skipped around pictures, where I would have treated it like when people are idiots and they go through grocery stores and they just knock everything off the shelf walking down. That would have been me. I would just started bumping paintings down the row and started taking them in a line.
So I'm picturing them with like a shopping cart.
Yeah,
now.
Exactly.
It's like, all right, let's just take everything.
It's Guy's Food Dash. You just go around and start throwing stuff in. But it's one of those novelty grocery carts that are like 3 times the size because they can fit whole paintings.
Yeah, that way they didn't have to cut out any of the paintings.
Honestly, that would have been the thing. I would have took longer because I'm not cutting paintings out. They're worth more if they're not fucked up.
Yeah. Even fucked up, it's still worth millions of dollars.
Yeah, but
and all it cost you was a fake shirt and a fake mustache.
Fake shirt, fake mustache. Nah, you gotta buy hats. Police officers wear hats.
Especially in the 90s.
They went to Party City and bought police officer uniforms that they don't even use anymore as police officers. Not even in the 90s they didn't use those. They're like generic like Officer Crumpkey with like a fucking tie and a fake little plastic badge. Like, yeah, legit police officers here.
So there's currently a reward for if people can return the paintings. It's a $10 million reward for the paintings.
Wait, how much was it worth again?
$500 million.
Okay, so it's not as okay.
It's enough to me go, no, I'm good.
Well, if you bought it from them,
yeah,
and you didn't spend that much, you probably return it and get $10 million. You get profit, depending on how, because those idiots probably don't even know how much those paintings are worth. They probably went to a person to sell them, and the person's like, I'll give you $500,000. They were like, it sounds like good enough for me, and they probably just gave it to him.
Yeah.
They didn't take it to an appraiser. Like, how much is this worth?
Hear me out. I know you've seen this before.
This story.
They take it back to the museum to
sell
it
how
back.
much is this worth?
I assumed you're looking for one of these.
Yeah. Honestly, it's been almost 20 years now. If that's 1990.
Yeah.
Over 20 years almost. Yeah. They probably could do that. Like, if they didn't sell any of those pictures, they'd be like, yeah, we found this in an alleyway. It's perfectly preserved still. Yeah. Like, yeah, here you go. You want
found
this?
It covered in mud that I cleaned off.
Yeah, exactly. It's like most people who find paintings in their attic and they're worth a whole lot of money. But like, yeah, I just found it when I moved into my apartment.
Is that a thing that happens nowadays? That people still find old paintings?
Every now and then. I want to say the last one was probably like 2-3 years ago, though. So not recently. But if somebody found one, I think it was worth like $20,000. Not it's not huge sums, but hey, I need $20,000. I'll take it.
I mean, money's money.
Yeah, I don't, dude. I could walk in with a painting. They'd be like, "Oh, this is so rare. I'll give you $200 for it." But like, fuck it, I need $200. Here you go. That's gas and food money right there. All right. Is there any more? There's there's
a lot of trails that the police followed, and one of them was to a local, because it's in Boston, local mob. And
did they go inside of an Italian restaurant where they have cannolis and they're smoking cigarettes and stuff?
I want paintings and just eat a bunch of cannolis.
The finest paintings in the world. Just cut them out. They look more legit.
I want to make it into my bedspread.
Yeah, exactly. You go inside of a mob boss's room. You know how they have like the skin carpets on the ground? Yeah. It's fucking paintings on the ground for their carpets.
Who made this? Rembrandt.
Rembrandt, yeah. All right, so continue to the mob.
1 second.
1 second. Oh, you had that gesture headset.
Yeah. So, they found this guy that apparently, whenever they get items for the mob, he apparently is the one to sell them to whoever to make money for him.
Okay.
They found a piece of paper with the names of a lot of the paintings on it and what their approximate worth was. All the approximate worths were off. They were all wrong. But they had all the names.
Like, were they over or under?
A lot of them were, well, they were
if
both.
They were off. They were, okay, just all over the place.
Yeah. So, they're like, but they couldn't find the paintings. They just had the names. But, like, apparently a year before this, his cellar flooded. And his kids are like, why is he so sad about the cellar flooding?
All those poor paintings are never going to be found. They're in Boston sewage right now because they dissolved. Because, you know, old paintings like that, they're like paper thin.
Oh, yeah.
So they most definitely got destroyed.
Oh, 100%.
But, you know, so this is probably what happened. The mob wanted paintings. So they probably hired people. They're like, yeah, we know what we're doing. They didn't know what they were doing. They walked in with no strategy. Like, we're dressed as police officers. Easy. They walked in, didn't know how to get the paintings out. So they just cut them out.
Yeah.
They took those to the mob. The mob, at least from movies, they don't play around. They probably got pissed. They probably like, you didn't take these out of the frames? They're like, you didn't say anything about the frames. Shot those idiots on the spot. Buried them somewhere. They're like, well, we can't use these paintings anymore. What do we do with them? Fuck, put them in the basement. And then they just sat there and dissolved one day. And mob doesn't give a shit. They didn't have to pay for it. So
yeah. So one of the things I thought was really interesting is they stole a lot of Rembrandt's paintings. And
I don't know what that is. Just so you know.
He's a painter.
Famous painter.
Yeah.
He's not a Ninja Turtle.
He's not a Ninja Turtle, unfortunately.
Damn.
He has two of them that are in the museum, where one was. They're both named the exact same thing. They're both called self-portrait. And they're both self-portraits
of him.
And the people that, when these took him, they took the one that was the least expensive one. The one that was cheaper.
Okay.
So
they wanted to get in trouble, but they didn't want to get in that much trouble.
So it brings up the point that they were probably just given a list. They're like, steal these ones. And they're like, this looks like self-portrait, and they just took it.
Well, they're both named the same damn thing, though.
Yeah.
So you can't, if anything, they probably sat there, because I imagine they're not next to each other. They're probably in different parts. So one was probably way down one hallway, like, I found it. And the other one was way down, me too. And they're just looking at him like, we gotta make a call here.
Well, one was in black and white, and one was in color.
Oh, okay.
And they took the one that was in black and white.
Why? People don't even steal black and white movies anymore, let alone color. You always go with the color ones. That's stupid.
Yeah. So there's still nobody has found these paintings. So if you ever find these paintings, take them back to the museum and you can get $10 million.
In other words, me and Bryce are going to Boston next summer. We're going into the sewage, and we're going to see if we can find... Because they didn't say they had to be in perfect condition. They're already cut out. You could find them... If anything, you could get a whole bunch of newspapers, leave them out in the rain for a while, get them all mushy. Tell you, like, yeah, I found this. This is it. You can't prove that it's not. It looks like it.
It's a picture of a guy. I call it self-portrait.
Yeah, self-portrait. It looks like him. Do you know what he looks like? No, you do not. You only see him in pictures. They didn't have photos back then. Give me $10 million, please. You know what? Fuck it. Just give me $5 million. We'll call it even.
Give me $20.
$20. $20 for this, please.
All right. I think we covered a lot now.
You know, when you see... I want to say it was Jimmy Fallon. They did the one where they were fake police officers with fake mustaches.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking of right now because his mustache started falling. I know you said his was wax, but it started slowly peeling off because they were fucking hot.
Yeah.
I imagine at some point that happened where the security guard walked out, looked at the door. He goes, "Yeah, we're legit." The mustache started peeling. He went and hurried and like swiped it back onto his face so it didn't go anywhere. And the security guard was like, all right.
But it's also the 90s where the cameras weren't that good.
Yeah,
you're like, all I see is 2 pixels.
2 pixels.
Nah,
you gotta remember, it's like NCIS. You gotta enhance. You know, that legitimate
zoom in
doesn't do anything in real life, but you know,
and while
TV
that
world.
Zoom in real close. Wow, those pixels look great.
Yeah, those are really legitimate pixels. All right. Because I'll keep talking about this fake mustache unless we go to something else.
Do you want to talk about our resident superhero, Florida Man?
Sure. Wait, we have a resident superhero named Florida Man?
Yeah, there's Florida Man.
I know. I didn't know he was a superhero.
He's the worst superhero ever.
He's worse than Hancock.
That's a feat.
Yeah. I'm a big Will Smith fan, but even I hated that movie.
Okay. So I'm just gonna... I don't have the links for these, but I think the stuff that I wrote down for him is enough.
Good enough that I can... Okay.
So we can just... So all of these were gathered... All of these were headlines in a 3-day period.
When you say all of these, is it more than 3?
Yes.
Is it more than 5?
Yes.
Is it more than 20?
No.
Okay, good.
I'm glad we narrowed it down.
Because we'll be here all this day.
So I'm just going to go through them and we just go wherever you want to go with this.
I'll figure something out.
Say, the first one's a little off already. It's Florida woman.
Florida woman.
A Florida woman assaults boyfriend with sandwich, pushes them as he cleans up the mess.
So this involves David Hasselhoff at some point. What kind of sandwich? Do you know what kind of sandwich? Was it a Reuben? It seems like it'd be a Reuben.
Why do you think it'd be a Reuben?
Because it seems like something you would attack somebody. You know, he's attacking anybody with a Whopper. That seems too generic. That seems too funny. I gave him a Whopper and a Whopper. You know what I mean? So she pushed him. Did she push him into the sandwich? Like, was he like? Is it like a schoolhouse bully where they knock the books out and then they push you? Like, you knock the sandwich, he started cleaning it up. You push him into the sandwich and he falls on the floor.
I feel it's more like she hit him with the sandwich. Mm-hmm. And he starts like, "Oh, baby, don't do that." Cleans it up. She's like, "Stop cleaning it up."
No, honestly, unless I'm in the house, if I'm like outside, somebody throws a sandwich and it hits the floor, it's like, I'm not cleaning this up. It's like, that sandwich belongs to the rats now. They can eat that.
That's nature's sandwich.
Yeah, that's nature's sandwich. The answer to love that sandwich. But this has to be a redneck. This is either a redneck or a really ghetto person. It goes to one of two extremes on that nature.
I like to think it's both.
Oh, well, it's a ghetto redneck.
Hey, welcome to Florida.
It's Dave Chappelle when he was the blind racist KKK member. Anyways. All right,
next one. Florida deputies suspended for taping signs to inmates' backs.
It better not have shank me. Yeah.
Could you they go through the line and just like, "You can have a good day."
Yeah, nice one.
It says like, "Stab me."
Stab me. I did it. It says guilty on the back.
He goes into court with a sign on
it. Yeah, exactly. The judge is like, "Well, he admitted to it. Get out of here."
I want to know when the line was for them. Like, okay, what can we not put on these signs?
Inmate of the day. Star number 1. No, I'm friends with OJ.
I met OJ once.
Yeah, exactly. I met OJ. I love OJ.
I shared a prison cell with OJ.
Yeah. What's that one? Shit, I can't make that joke. I forgot what his name is. What's the guy who made I think it's I Believe I Can Fly, the guy who's pissing on people. He just got in trouble recently.
Oh, R. Kelly.
Yeah. Me and R. Kelly are buds. Yes, stupid shit like that.
I don't like to shower with R. Kelly.
I love Bill Cosby's pudding.
Let's keep this tone going.
Okay.
With Florida man finds bag of bones while clearing land.
Are they just bones or are they human bones? What kind of bones are these?
I assumed
this story goes 2 different ways.
Let's go both ways and discuss both ways.
Animal bones, depending on the animal, it's okay. Like, I wouldn't be worried if I found a bag of like gerbil or dog bones.
If they were like chicken legs, like you buy.
I'd buy it.
But it was like a big like trash bag filled with just chicken bones.
Can they be wishbones? Can it be chicken wishbones? Or no, that's turkeys, isn't it?
Well, they both have both wishbones.
Okay. But you just get a whole bunch of wishes out of it. Just start cracking them.
I wish I didn't find these bones.
And they just disappear to the vapor.
You just if they were chicken bones,
I wouldn't be that freaked out. I really wouldn't.
But imagine the meal this person had.
Yeah. Dude, I've gone to the store in the deli section, you know, where they slice meat?
Yeah.
And I've seen people just buy the packet of meat. They don't get sliced. Like, can I just have that whole thing? I've seen that.
Yeah.
That's not scary to me. Now, if it was like elephant bones, I don't know where they came from. You might get a lot of money for that, actually.
Like, probably the zoo.
Yeah. That happened with rhinos. Somebody snuck in and killed rhinos and stole their, well, not their tusks, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be the wildest. But how would they get to where he's at? Where did he find these bones again?
Just says he was clearing land, so he was making space to make like a building.
So this sounds like it's a human thing. The mob came back. They're the guys who had the portraits. They killed him and brought him. They brought him to Florida.
They're wrapped in Rembrandts.
Yeah. They went all the way from Boston. That's how they didn't find them. That's where the paintings are. They're in Florida. You got to take the paintings and take them all the way to Boston and get $10 million.
All right, so
that's stupid.
Florida man gets stabbed by girlfriend for not putting out.
I imagine this is the sandwich situation. He finally grew a set and he stabbed her.
She stabbed him.
Oh, so
she's still mad.
After he cleaned the sandwich up, she pushed him, and she goes, "You know what? You're just not fucking me right," and just stabbed him right in the face. That's a dark one.
I read this one a little bit. He just came home from work just tired. She was like, "Fuck you," and just starts.
He walked in. He tried to do the not the Dale Gribble, but what's his Dale Gribble's wife's name?
I have no idea.
Fuck, I can't. I think it's like Patty or something. Which goes, I have a migraine. I can't go here. I got to go to John Redcorn's and get fucked by somebody else. I don't want to fuck you. And she just stabbed him in the face. It does say stabbed in the face, right?
It just says just stabbed.
I imagine she stabbed him in the face.
I hope this man's alive.
He's probably not. It's Florida. He died.
I think you'll like the next one.
Okay.
Florida man who dressed like Medea arrested after stealing hundreds of cans of baby formula.
What? Can you what?
Florida man dressed like Medea.
Like Medea.
Was arrested after stealing hundreds of cans of baby formula.
Okay, you can't just get the headlines for these because I want to know, one, if this guy was black, so it would actually make sense.
I saw the picture.
Is he a black man?
Yes.
Okay, so at least he makes sense. It's not a white guy who's like, I'm Medea. It's like, no, you're not. You're not even the right race.
Trust me.
Yeah, I'm a Medea. It's the same guy with the mustaches. Anyways,
this guy needs to up his
He needs to up his game. Yeah, he's picking weird shit.
Let's go back to the painting when he probably like a kid's kid's
cop uniform. It's not even a full Medea dress. It's only like top of it.
It was like the hat part of it.
Well, you know Medea's crazy. You've seen. Well, you probably haven't, Bryce. You don't watch black movies.
I've seen one Medea.
You've seen one. There's 18 probably Medea movies you need to watch. There's a shit ton of Medea movies. There's one every year probably two every year. Wouldn't surprise me.
If we can get the guy who plays Medea on this podcast,
you want to get
Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry to come on this podcast.
I want him to tell a story.
Tell a story of him as Medea.
As his life, yes, please.
Have you ever seen? There's a video where I want to say it's Oprah. No, if it's not Oprah, it's maybe Ellen. Where they have they get a video chat with Medea. Oh, yeah. And they talk to Medea about Medea getting arrested. Medea goes crazy, pretty much. She goes, "You didn't have to bring that up. Why'd you have to bring that up?" Dressed as Medea. What's the baby formula for? Or was he just there to steal shit?
I think it was he just needed baby formula. Mm-hmm. So he's like, I don't have the money for it. So I had to dress up.
But you don't have to dress up to steal something. You just steal it.
Yeah, but it says hundreds of cans. He was going for the big pot. Big.
He was going for the ones that come in still like the plastic wraps and just stuff them. How was he expecting to get away? You only steal like maybe 3 or 4 at a time.
Was he wearing high heels?
No, Medea doesn't wear high heels.
No, he could run.
I don't think Medea doesn't wear high heels. Medea seems like the lady who wears flats.
Yeah.
She wears sandals, if not slip-ons of some sort. Next Florida man.
Florida man steals dump truck, then tries to hide in military facility. I believe he thought he was playing GTA.
Yeah, pretty much at that point. He's Trevor from GTA.
I need you to steal this car. I'm in a dump truck now.
The worst part about it is, no matter what you do, dump trucks are very distinct. You can, no matter what color it is, unless it was a green dump truck, as soon as you hit the military base, they're gonna be like, "That car is not the right color. What's it doing here?"
How to get into the military facility?
It's easy to get into military bases. The problem is getting out.
Yeah,
you can't get out once you get in.
Yeah, probably. I can take your word for it. I'm not gonna. Let's go to Boston. Let's not go to a military facility. Now Area 51 here.
I've been in a military facility before. I once went with my old church. I want to say it was a military facility where we went there for a picnic.
Yeah.
And legitimately, there was signs that, like, don't walk in this forest because there's undiscovered landmines. And we're like, huh, why do we choose here to go for a picnic? That seems like such a weird decision.
I mean, once you find a good space, just don't move.
Yeah. No, well, the field was open. It's just one of those things where it's like, somebody wanted to go for a hike because we should go for a nature walk. I'm like, no, not at all. That seems like a bad idea.
I feel like if you don't know about it, every mine is an undiscovered landmine.
Undiscovered mine. There's one under this house where we're sitting right now. We just don't know about it.
Yeah,
well, you won't set it off.
Yeah,
I say you can't. The ground's on the way.
It's undiscovered.
It's undiscovered. It's like sinkholes in Florida. They just happen. How would you feel, Bryce, if you were walking one day? Not you.
Okay.
But let's say a street away, at least eye distance. You see somebody walking, and and they just shoot up in the sky. Maybe like a leg flies off, and they just hit the ground. What do you do at that point? They just discovered an unmarked landmine. What are you doing?
Step one, panic.
Panic?
Because I don't go in areas usually where that's a normal thing. If I'm walking like to Publix down the street and somebody just explodes across the street,
you're gonna get really worried. You need to get worried. There's grade schools down the street. There's kids over there.
I would worry about those kids and worry. It's like
Bryce is throwing kids on the ground looking for landmines. It's like Rambo where they make the hostages go first. So like, you're gonna step on them. Go,
sir. These kids need to go to school. Hold on, I need to get to Publix.
You need to get to Publix. Walk down the street. Slowly, kids are just.
God damn it.
Bryce is walking in behind them. It's like a pyro show for WrestleMania. You walk like, yeah.
It's at the
man right here
is the Randy Orton's entrance at I think it was the last one, the one before he's walking down. The snake is.
Oh yeah, that was WrestleMania.
I'm sure it was WrestleMania. It was WrestleMania. It wasn't. I'm sure it was the last one or the one year before.
I want to say it was the last one, but anyways, continue.
Yeah, it was like a super bad because he had to walk kind of slow.
Yeah, so it could keep up.
Yeah,
it was horrible. It looked cool if it worked.
I feel like I think it was actually maybe more realistically, it was the other way around. Mm-hmm. He was walking too slow for the animation, so he had to slow it down to keep up with him.
That's because the ramp's so damn long. It's almost a football length long. Anyways,
and he's also just very slow.
We should do wrestling stories at some point.
We'll do one here and there.
Everyone, just so you know, when this came out, Lion King came out this week. I saw a post where it's like, oh, the new Lion King is so realistic. I felt sad when Mufasa died, and it's a picture of Undertaker when he threw Mankind through, not over the cell, but through the cell, and they have that shot of Mankind just like laying in the ring, half broken. It's that. I was like, wow, that's really realistic. That's gory. Disney's getting an edge up here.
Mufasa lose teeth through his nose.
He goes out. There's a cowboy lion that's in the back. By God, he's broken in half.
Now I want to get a meme of just using poorly put Mufasa's face on Mankind. And it does that.
All right, next one.
You talked about church. Florida man breaks into church, cuts himself on the glass, bleeds everywhere, trips alarm, and then gets held at gunpoint by pastor until police arrives.
Why does the pastor have a gun? What dangerous part of Florida are we talking here?
It's all of Florida.
That's true. Florida's a very dangerous place. Don't come here unless you're only going to Disney World, and just stay in Disney World.
It's shorten that. Don't come here.
Don't come here. It's hot. It's annoying. And people will run you over with your car. with your car. They'll get in your car and run you over, not their car.
Yeah. And then they'll hit you with a sandwich.
And they'll hit you with a sandwich. And then you'll wind up in a bag because you didn't get the right pictures in Boston.
It's a very specific warning for somebody.
It is. It's a very. I've had experience with this. I've been held at gunpoint by a priest. Don't ask. It's not just because I live in Florida.
So, I know churches get like donations and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen First? No, you don't watch black movies. You have to watch First Sunday. It's by Ice Cube.
I think I did see that one.
Of course, you saw that one. That's a horrible movie.
It's not good.
It's not. You gotta go watch the Friday trilogy. That's way better.
So
the first two.
Like, I'm trying to wonder, was he trying? He was trying to steal from the church.
Obviously.
How much do you think he was trying to get?
Depending on the size of the church, you can get a lot of money in church because not only do you have to worry about like offerings and donation stuff, like if they have like fundraisers and stuff, brownies make a lot of money, man. You can sell brownies at a church and walk out with bang.
Yeah. Do you think?
Do you think he was shocked? Like, do you think he tried to talk to the preacher, and the preacher's like, "I don't want to hear it." Like, well, aren't you supposed to listen to it? No, it's not. It's not church time right now. Don't move.
We're not in confessional.
Yeah, not in confessional whatsoever.
You're at gunpoint.
The preacher ran out all crazy. He's like, let's kill them all. Let God decide where they go, and start shooting all of them in the fucking church.
I like counterpoint. I think at gunpoint is the perfect time to
start
confessing things.
Well, not to be rude, if you're gonna get killed by a preacher, that makes sense. That's like that's like having a car accident with a tow truck. It makes sense because you gotta call one anyways at that point. When you're gonna die, you might as well call a preacher. Well, technically, when you do die, they send you a preacher, like death penalty, I believe, or whatever your religion is. They send somebody to talk to you, I believe.
I just had a thought.
Okay.
The Church of Satan.
The Church of Satan.
Do they send a representative?
I imagine they can.
I wonder if
why not?
Because it's
a religion.
It's a parody thing.
I think but it's a legitimate religion. I believe you can put like if you file like information and they have like religions. I believe the Church of Satan is on there. I think you can be a legitimate. Because even though it is a bit of a just a shot to religion, I believe it is a legitimate thing. Because they have like a place you can go and donate, and they have like statues and stuff like that now.
Yeah,
where you can go and see Satan.
I still think it's.
Do you remember a few years ago where they wanted to put a picture up of Satan with like children?
Yeah,
like the children were all happy, and people were like, "That can't go there," and they're like, "Why? It's religion. Just let Satan play with your kids. It's easy."
Don't take
kids
that
love Satan.
I should say this: don't take any of the quotes from this out of context.
Haven't you seen all the horror movies? Whenever Satan doesn't like grown-ups, they go and fuck with kids all the time.
Because we're talking about blowing up kids. Kids going to Satan.
I hate kids. You don't have to take that one out of context. That one's easy.
Yeah, fair enough. You only have two more.
I want to go to a place and have like a, when you go to church and have like a choir of kids with like white robes on, they're all singing and being happy.
Yeah.
I want to go to the Church of Satan and they all have like black and red robes on and little horns and they're like, yeah, Satan. I want to see that.
And they just play like Metallica or something like that.
Yeah. No, not professionals. I want to see the kids play Metallica. Like one of them just breaks out a fucking guitar. Yeah.
No, it's all like what's a singing with only your voices? The making music with only voices.
Acapella?
Yeah, it's all acapella. Metallica.
Acapella. No, can we have one guitar? Because we have one person with like a. Remember Tenacious D? I think it was where Satan had the guitar with the hoof. It had like the fucking hoof on the end of it. I want one of those. One of those fucking behemoths. Next Florida man story before I get in trouble about talking about kids and Satan.
So only have two more.
Okay.
Florida man driving home from liquor store becomes DUI suspect, tells deputy, "Fuck you, I'm a lawyer."
I want to say it was you never met Michael from work, and he told me a story about people he knew where they had a whole bunch of DUIs, and one of the things is if they ever got pulled over and they knew they were drunk, they would refuse to wind the window down, and when the police officer walked up, they would turn their lights on, look at them, and down a whole bunch of alcohol in front of them because they couldn't prove that they were drunk beforehand. And that's how they got away with not getting more DUIs.
Yeah.
That's not what this story is, but that's what it reminds me of. Because that's the I think I know what I'm doing excuse. Like, I'm a lawyer. Good for you. You're gonna fucking need one. Get out of the car.
You're gonna defend yourself, or
never defend yourself. If you could take one piece of information from me, it's never defend yourself in court. And kids love Satan. Anyways,
I just watched last night on Netflix. There was the Ted Bundy thing with Zac Efron.
That is amazing, and I love it.
I didn't know he defended himself in court.
Yeah, because he thought he was a fucking smarty pants like this asshole.
Yeah. Yeah, don't be like Ted Bundy.
Don't be Ted Bundy.
Period. Just anything he did.
Maybe his haircut. He had amazing hair.
He looked kind of like Zac Efron.
He does. I remember when they announced that Zac Efron was going to do that. And people were like, "No, he looks too nice." It's like, that's the point.
Yeah.
Because Ted Bundy was a guy who looked way too fucking nice, and he was a fucking psychopath.
Exactly.
Yeah, it made sense. You don't. No. Okay, I don't remember what the guy's name is, but the new Quentin Tarantino movie that's coming out has a guy that's going to be playing Charles Manson. Mm-hmm. And I believe the guy, if I'm correct, if I got my information correct, the guy who's playing Charles Manson in that movie is also going to be doing a Netflix documentary where he plays old Charles Manson. Like, in the movie, he's going to play young Charles Manson. In the documentary, he's going to play old Charles Manson. When do you start questioning people when they go, you know what, you're the perfect Charles Manson. We want you to play everything that's Charles Manson. It's like, thank you, I guess. I don't want to be known as the guy that plays Charles Manson.
I think it's... Okay, so I think it's not really a compliment.
No, it's not.
But at the same time, it's like, you're such a good actor at playing, and you aren't a psychopath.
What if he's you know those actors who get really into their roles? What are those called?
Method actors.
What if he's a method actor? He actually has a cult sitting in his house right now. They're about to go kill a celebrity. They're going to go kill some kids. Charles Manson killed kids.
Yeah.
He killed a kid.
So
depending on what your definition of a kid is.
This podcast went way off the rails.
Yeah, it is. You shouldn't have brought up the Church of Satan. Anyways.
I shouldn't have. Either way, this guy was like, fuck you, I'm a lawyer. And he's probably gonna need
an actual lawyer. He's not a real lawyer. He's one of those guys.
What if he is a real lawyer?
He's not a real lawyer. He's one of those guys who his dad's a lawyer and he's learning to be a lawyer. So he's like, I'm a lawyer. Like, no, you're not. Go call your father. You get a free lawyer, like Adam Sandler and Big Daddy. Was it Big? It's called. Oh, or is it just called Big? Or is it Big Daddy?
Big Daddy is with Adam Sandler.
Yeah, remember his dad was a lawyer, and he's like, I'm representing myself. Like, no, he's not. His dad's a lawyer. Come in here.
Big was with Tom Hanks when he became from a kid to just like an adult.
Oh yeah, that movie's weird.
Yeah. All
right, let's go. We'll talk about Big later.
It was
like we need to get 17. Away from kids.
It was like the opposite of 17 again. With Zac Efron, back full circle. Yeah.
That was a horrible segue to Zac Efron.
Always segue to Zac Efron.
I love Zac Efron.
He's handsome. Anyways.
All right. This is the last one.
Last one.
And hopefully we can stay on subject.
I didn't do this at the beginning, but this is, especially for this one, shout out to the Florida Man subreddit. That's where I got all these. This last one was posted on there many times. 75-year-old Florida man fights off gator to save dog.
I think I've actually heard this story before. If you go... I want to say it's to Gatorland, actually, down here. They have a gator that was known for eating dogs in the area.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if that's actually connected to this story, if that's that old of a story.
No, this was...
Is this recent?
It was a week ago.
Oh, then that's... Wow.
And I saw different ones, like, he roundhouse kicked this gator.
Roadhouse.
So this 75-year-old man...
Hey, dude, I love dogs. I'd fight an alligator for a dog.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Actually, no, because I like gators more. I probably would want to have the gator as a pet. I'd be like, can I get the collar off that dog before you finish it and put it on you?
I'd protect my gator from a dog.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck you, dogs.
Man, we're going to get so many people, like, loving us because we're like, fuck kids, fuck dogs.
Fuck everything.
You know what's really
Zac
cool?
Efron.
Zac Efron. Zephron.
Zac Zefron. Zefron. We should get one of those large standees of Zac Efron and sit it in this room.
I would be very uncomfortable with that.
Legitimately, my sister, when we were younger, had a John Cena large standee, and I punched it because it scared the shit out of me in the dark one day.
I mean,
and it's old school John Cena when he was a rapper, so it was like his hands were out doing like his signs. So all I saw when the lights came on was a man and his arms out, and I went, "Oh shit!" He legitimately scared the shit out of me. But saved. No, I want to talk about this alligator. We got time to talk about this alligator. Have plenty of time. I think we do at least.
Yeah.
Because how do you take on an alligator? Because depending on the size of this alligator, alligators aren't small.
Yeah.
Even small ones are dangerous. I've seen it on Jackass. They're not nice to hang out with.
Yeah, I took tourism. I took a picture with a baby one.
I did that before too.
And I was deathly afraid of it. I was holding it.
And it still has tape around its mouth, so it's not going to do anything.
But it has to have tape around its mouth.
Yeah, so it doesn't do anything.
But this one was just like a wild gator.
There's actually a story that happened, I want to say it's probably a year ago, still in Florida, of a little girl who actually saved herself. This is the only kid I like. This is the only story about kids that I like.
Everyone but this kid.
Everybody but this little girl.
This one kid.
She saved herself because an alligator actually bit down on her. And I can't remember if it was the eyes or the nose. I want to say it's the nose. She plugged it so it had to let go of her so it could breathe. And that's how she got away with it, I want to say it was the nose and not the eyes.
It's really smart.
Yeah. Well, of course, because it's using its mouth, so it's not breathing. So you plug it and it lets go.
When that happened?
About maybe 2017. It's been a little while. It
happened about 70 years ago to the same person, and then he grew up knowing how to fight gators.
She had a sex change, became an old man.
Yeah.
Started loving dogs, saved dog from alligator.
I feel like she always loved dogs.
Yeah, I know people. No, I don't want to say that.
I don't want to lie like that.
No, because there are people who don't like animals until they find that one special animal, and then they love them.
Yeah, my mom cat. With her current cat.
Yeah.
Because she hates animals.
Your cat, I actually finally went outside and saw it. It looked at me because it finally came out of the room. It looked at me 10 seconds and bolted.
Yeah.
It ran back. It does not like me. At least not yet.
She doesn't like people.
Anybody.
She likes people who live here, and that's it. It took about 2 weeks for it to warm up to us. Anyways.
Guy body slammed alligator. He threw it through the cell. He threw the hell in the cell and stood over top. Can we get that now? Can we get I'm
gonna spend a lot of time just making memes after this of that same clip and just photoshopping different things on the faces.
Well, you don't even have to make Undertaker an old man. He's already well, maybe with that picture, you gotta age him up a little bit. Use a current picture of Undertaker as the old man, and
isn't he only in his 50s?
Undertaker's 68, dude. Undertaker is old. He's been wrestling for almost 3 decades now.
He's 54.
Fuck. He's that... Wow.
He was born in 1965.
Damn.
Yeah,
he's only 54.
He's only 50. But
he's still in
doing
shape.
For how many years he's been doing this? It's more like the toll of it.
Yeah, exactly. Even with the toll, though, Undertaker's still in shape.
Yeah.
For old body. He's an old shaped guy. But he's still in shape.
Let's say it. He can kick both of our asses.
He can kick both our asses twice. and then single-handedly drag us up together to the Hell in a Cell and then throw us both through the cell. We'll land next to Mankind.
He's still there.
He's still there. They never picked him up. Terry Funk's losing his mind right now. Anyways. So that's the guy that runs out who gets slammed out of his shoes. Do you ever watch that match? You've watched that match, right? The Hell in a Cell match?
I probably have, yeah. I just don't remember it offhand.
Oh, well, after Mankind goes through the cell, a guy named Terry Funk. Do you know who Terry Funk is?
Yeah, of course.
He goes through, and they try and buy Mick Foley time. They have a whole little documentary on the WWE Network for $9.99.
Okay, but don't say that we don't actually have a sponsorship.
We don't have a sponsor. Not sponsored.
Don't.
Why? The network's amazing. Anyways, we'll talk about other promotions too. I love AEW. Anyways, they run out and they have to buy time because Mick Foley's pretty much dead at this point. So they end up talking to each other and arguing. Undertaker choke slams him, and he comes out of his fucking shoes. Legitimately, his sneakers fall the fuck off. And it's that wasn't planned. His shoes just fell off somehow.
He choke slammed him out of his shoes.
And JR says that, actually. When you listen to the commentary, JR goes, he got slammed out of his shoes for his trouble. And you see his shoes on the fucking ring. So the whole time they're fighting for a while, there's just a random pair of fucking white sneakers in the ring for no reason.
Okay, so
That was the last of Florida Man.
now comes the issue. How do we end this?
I thought you said we were going to do big story Florida Man. There's not another story you have for us?
I do.
Because
We've
if
been
not,
recording for 55 minutes.
well, exactly. We'll go for another 5. It'll be easy. I can make this fast.
I don't. Okay, how about we do?
Like a new person in bed, I can make this fast.
Okay,
Anyways,
how about we do this?
that was funny. Fuck you. You fucking piece of shit.
Okay, how about we do a couple crime blotters?
Okay, sure.
Shout out to the Mercury News. They have compilations of all the crime blotters. They have all the phone calls they take in. These are the funny ones.
Apparently I'm not funny, but okay.
A man was reported to be sitting down and talking to himself.
Okay.
Police made contact and confirmed he was using a cell phone.
This is why I don't use Bluetooth. And he calls police. Even if he is talking to himself, leave him alone. He's not doing anything. Just leave him alone.
Because, okay, I know I'm a bit weird.
You are a lot weird.
So sometimes I'm like planning something out for Dungeons and Dragons or whatever, and I'm like, I want him to say it. I practice a certain voice.
If you haven't realized, we're a bunch of nerds because Bryce plans out Dungeons and Dragons.
I have to. I'm a DM.
Yeah, I know that. Alright, so you're doing voices.
So I'm like, I have to practice a voice. So I'll just be hanging out by myself and just so making noises. Because I was just like, I'm like walking through to work, just making the noise, just trying to get it down.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody just called the police because I'm grunting on my way to work.
Well, at least you're just grunting. Usually, if I get into deep thought and stuff like that, if I think of like different character ideas and stuff, not only do I talk to myself, I pace. I walk back and forth. So even if I'm outside, I would be pacing. So they'd be like, he's talking to himself and he's walking in a 5x5 line back and forth. And I'd be like, yeah, oh, no, that wouldn't work. No, not at all. So it's not the craziest thing, but it's one of those things that's like, you just leave that guy alone.
He's just living his life.
He's fine. You wouldn't do that to like homeless people. You'd be like, oh, they're just crazy, and you just keep going.
See, in order to get away with this,
you have to be homeless.
Just carry around a cardboard sign.
Yeah, exactly.
It says, I'm talking to myself, leave me alone.
Bryce, this is what we're going to end out on. We're going to end this after this, since we just brought up homeless people. I know this has nothing to do with this, but you brought up homeless. I once, on the way to work, saw a guy that said, unemployed plus-sized model, please help. And I fucking loved it. And the worst part about it, he wasn't that big. So I'm like, he must have been out of work for a while because he's losing weight.
If you guys have any stories you want us to cover, go ahead and you can email us at DYHATpodcast@gmail.com. That is DYHAT podcast@gmail.com. Shout out to Young Walnut for letting us use his song for the intro and outro of our podcast.